You may have heard me talking a few weeks ago about how excited I was to be going to the Middle East. I never dreamed that after I got back from Israel, war would break out just weeks later. I've been messaging back and forth with my guide that I used in Israel ever since then, and Jeremy Collins joins me now from Jerusalem. Jeremy, I didn't dream I would see you again like this. Where are you? Just kind of describe to us, where are you in a safe room right now? Tell me exactly.
Hi, no, thank you for having me. So my house is located just outside Jerusalem. I'm sitting in my living room talking to you. We are, the short answer is that we're okay. We're relatively safe. My wife, my kids, and myself, we're together. Physically, we are doing all right. We have been suffering with intermittent rocket attack that's had us scurrying to the safe room. We have a fortified room in our house, like every Israeli. We had one rocket, a large rocket that landed about a mile from our house, which was scary. But in today's Israel, just suffering from rocket attacks makes you one of the lucky ones. So we're here and we're home and we're alive.
You know, we're watching all the families, and our heart breaks for all the families who are involved in this right now. You've got 2 kids. How are your kids doing?
My kids are okay. We're resilient. They're resilient. Israelis are resilient. We're trying to shield the worst of it from them. We don't have the TV on. We don't have social media on. They know what's going on. You walk around the streets around my house, and there's not a single adult that's not crying, myself and my wife included.
You are Jewish. You purposely use Muslim tour transportation for people who come over there to try to pull people together. That's what you were doing. Have you talked to the Muslim people who you would ordinarily be doing business with? How are they doing?
I have spoken to them. You'll remember, Jane, the family that we used when you were in Israel traveling us around. Almost immediately, we spoke to one another. We cried together. They're hurting for me. I'm hurting for them. There are extremists in their community who are putting them at risk with Israeli army reprisals. There are extremists in their community who are giving them a bad name. But most of the people, and certainly all the Arabs, all the Palestinians, all the Muslims I know, have been reaching out for me and crying with me of the suffering that we've endured.
We were in a home right on the border with Gaza. Have you talked to any of the people who we talked to that day? Are they okay?
I have. We were in Sderot. You'll remember the city. We were also in the small farming community called Netiv Asara. It's the closest community to the border. We stood together on the border. It's a small community of about 900 people. We sat in the home of someone there. 18 people from that community were slaughtered. In terms of numbers, they were very fortunate. Some of the other communities, only a minute or 2 drive from where we were is where we've seen these pictures, if you've been seeing them, or the descriptions of the worst atrocities that you could possibly imagine. Whole families, whole communities devastated, destroyed, slaughtered. And that's where we were a few weeks ago.
When I've looked, the streets are empty in Jerusalem. Are you scared to go outside?
People want to be close to their loved ones, and people want to be close to the bomb shelters. We have about a minute where if an air raid siren goes off, we have to get to our safe room. So people aren't going far from our house, but more than that, everything is closed. The shops are closed, the restaurants, the cafes are closed. 300,000 reservists called up has left a huge dent in the workforce. And there's just no one can do anything, Jane. People are just openly weeping in the streets.
Are you afraid of terrorism where you are?
We live in a gated community. We have all the entry and exit points to to the community have been closed, apart from one. That one has 24-hour armed security. We have armed security patrolling our streets 24 hours a day. We live very close to Arab towns, Palestinian towns. I still, despite everything, I want to believe that the people who live in those towns, the majority of them, are as disgusted as I am with what has happened and do not wish me any harm. But we're taking every precaution.
Thanks for taking your time to share with us, to give us a perspective. We're all watching. As I said, we're all concerned about all the families who are there. I hope that at some point you can get back to guiding tours. I just personally want to tell people you were a fabulous way to see Israel, and people can find you at Jerusalem with Jeremy. I hope that you are back to that business in the not too distant future.